we go, folks. We got us a 2020 Chevrolet GMC, actually. 2500. It's got the big 6.6 gasser. Customer states the service brake system, brake pad monitor system light is on. Evidently, he had someone do the rear brakes, and then now the light is on. So that was the story there. They're coming down out there. The other thing is his trailer brakes do not work, and it has a message on the dash: service trailer brake controller, or service trailer brake, something along those lines. And I've gone ahead and scanned it. Let me just grab the scan tool here. Get this thing turned on, because I wanted to get my bearings a little bit before I called my customer. I'll just go to the report here and show you what I saw. So we have a couple codes here: rear brake pad wear signal circuit not plausible, and rear brake pad wear signal circuit too many transitions, whatever that means. The first thing the customer wants us to look at, because he said the most important thing for him is his trailer brakes need to work, because he tows with this truck all the time. So we need to look at this here. It's the U1514 Loscom with device on LIN bus. And this is coming from the chassis control module. And I guess I'll be perfectly transparent here. I haven't fixed the trailer brake system on one of these newer GMs. I've done some of the older ones. I don't believe I've done any with the chassis module, at least not any that come right to my mind. We're going to look at a wiring diagram. I believe the chassis module talks to a separate trailer brake module, and then perhaps the button there on the inside. Now I did notice when I was bringing the truck in, I pushed on the manual brake lever for the trailer brakes, and it did populate up on the dash. Excuse me. I pressed the gain button up, and it was gain, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, and so on. Moved the manual slider over. Of course, that stayed at 0. It didn't, output anything because it doesn't recognize a trailer being hooked up. And that's it. That's what I did. So that's what I know. We need to gather a little more information and keep on keeping on. I'm going to put the truck on the lift. We'll look at some info, see what we can figure out.
Tell you what, before we get carried away, make sure it's not going to fall off the lift here and kill us.
That looks... Oh, Chevy. You're peeing on my floor, Chevy.
What are you leaking up here? Oh, the old oil cooler lines are leaking.
Oh boy.
Let's see. Let's see what things look like. Okay, I do see a wire wear sensor in there. And I think that's the only one. Yeah, I was going to say, I think it only has it on the one side. Okay. And then, just want to kind of locate some modules here. I think that's the chassis module there. Got a cable on that. Lots of wires and such. I don't know where the trailer brake module is right offhand. Okay, well, let's, trailer brake module may be inside the vehicle, not 100% sure. I just kind of wanted to look around under here, see what things look like. Okay, they must have gave it the old classic pad slap. The old pad slapper. Okay. Well, let's gather some information. Now we got her on a lift and see what we can't figure out. Looks like it's plugged in. We'll go from there.
Okay, folks, let's see. We did a little visual inspection. What we'll do is we're going to pop into this chassis module. So here's our code lost with COM on LIN bus, as we already mentioned. And I did do a little looking, just kind of a little poking through service info. This is a bit 7, she's a gassy. And then what we need to do, I don't know if we can do this here. Yeah, we can't do the find function on this because it's not a PC. The chassis control module. See if we can't find that little guy here, hopefully. How many pages of stuff? Okay, must be, I looked right clean past it here. Let's grab our glasses. Let's find, okay, auxiliary chassis control module right here. Okay, so the LIN bus must be this one here. Okay, so let's see, chassis control module, because this is our high-speed data bus, so GM uses a daisy chain type networking, which is kind of nice because it makes it easy to diagnose when there's a problem on the high-speed network, especially if it's a module down using the daisy chain system, so it's data in and data out, onto the next module. The cons to it is, one module drops out and everything downstream of it, goes to pot, or if one module shorts out, everything hooked to the data network goes to pot. But let's see here. So this is our high speed in, high speed out, or vice versa. And then I'm assuming this is our LIN bus, so we're looking at a single wire. It says high speed serial data. Okay, and that comes up here to the trailer brake control switch. That's the switch inside the dash, which I assume works. Because like I said, I touched it, and then it goes to the trailer brake power control module, mounted to bracket above the spare tire. Let's see if we can just kind of see where that is. Okay, trailer brake power control, JL1. Okay, so that's our connector. That's what we're looking at for a connector there. All right. Let's see. So we have primary fuse, battery positive, trailer brakes, signal, auxiliary control. All right. Just trying to get. Oh, and then here we go. Electronic brake control module LIN bus, green with blue, pin 12. So that's good. Then we can verify here. Was that pin 12 that we were looking at? Okay, yeah, it is here. So pin 12, we can see right there, it's a 12. Okay, so this, where it says high-speed serial data, single wire, is a LIN bus. And with that code, it just means one of these two items isn't talking to this item. And that could be lack of, power and ground, ability to communicate. Module could just be funky on it. Let's go here, component locator. Underbody components left rear. All right, what do we have here? Trailer brake power control module, call out number 1. All right, so that's something good to know. Okay, so it's back there above the spare tire. What's call out number 2? I'm assuming chassis module. Nope, fuel pump driver control module, which I believe is. Oh, okay, chassis control module. We'd have to look up these RPOs. Not really worth it at this point. Number 3, they're showing as the chassis module. Okay, so that big honker under there is chassis module. Trailer brake control module lives up on top. Great. Let me see if we can find some more info here. Just kind of want to look at some stuff. Okay, so it's mounted kind of vertical back up there. All right. Trailer brake power control module. Okay. I'm going to do a little more poking here, not going to drag you guys through the mud with me. See what we need to do. See what fuses feed it, see where the ground is. We've got that printout there we can get for the connector, so we can go back there and do our checks. Probably could do some driver seat diagnostics as far as, is the chassis module receiving inputs from the from the manual position lever up there? I'm assuming that it is, but I think that we could also we could probably bring up some data and see inputs here. Trailer brake control. Okay, so we probably could look, manual trailer brake applied request. probably look at some of that to see, you know, because I would have to assume if that populates here on the screen, that would tell me, hey, you know, it's likely communicating with that device that's on the LIN bus. Sometimes this loss of comm with device on LIN bus, it's about as vague as that. I mean, it's just, you know, there's a device on a LIN bus that runs this module that's not communicating. In our case, we have two devices that are on the same LIN bus. Oh, this is, whoops. So this is kind of interesting. Trailer brake power control module battery voltage, 0 volts. Ah. Are we dealing with a blown fuse? So that's something to note there. Just kind of poking through here. Interesting. Well, we may let it down, see what we see. Let me do it, like I said, let me do a little more poking. Let's get our bearings. Just kind of wanted to show you where I was at, what we're gonna be looking for, and then go from there. Okay, folks, here we go. I set the truck down so we can do a couple things. We can go inside and push buttons. And because we saw that 0 volt business there, I thought we could look here. So over here, we have the trailer brake. Click in on this. We have our trailer brake power control module here. Battery positive voltage fuse F84UA 30 amp. Now let me see if I can't locate that here. Let's see, fuse 34. Nope, that's not it. Right? Fuse 84. So I go down here to 84, trailer brake 30 amp. Okay, so this all agrees here. I'm looking at the legend under the box. Just kind of want to make sure everything agrees. Now we got to figure out how the box lay. I don't think that's it, Rocco. There we go. I think it goes like this. Okay, yep, that looks right. Number 84. Okay, that's a big honky tonk right there. We're gonna have to get a little pair of pliers. Let's see, because I don't think we can do anything. Let me just take and pop number 84. That's the furthest one out here, because we need to verify whether or not this fuse is any good. Can't really tell. These little mini J-case fuses are kind of a pain. Let's just go like this. Let's grab us a ground here if we can. Verify that we at least have power up here. Figure this is probably easier than pulling everything apart back there. Okay, so we do have power. When I jumper it, I just took my test light and went from the load side to the power side, and I did see a little spark. So it does create a spark. We need to check to see if this fuse is open. Can't really tell. Let me just grab a meter. So we've got our meter here. I think this is this will fit across there. All right, fuse is good. We know we have power there, so that's good. And it must be connected to something, because like I say, when I jump the test light, you know, across 2 pins, it does throw a little spark. Let's look here where we still have this going. Go back to diagnostics. Let's go back into that module and just make sure nothing has changed there as far as its data display. I assume that we should have 12 volts down here on this data PID right here, the one I just selected, the power brake voltage. I'm going to have to assume. We could look in. We could probably figure that out. This may be a clue for us. Let's do this. I could be wrong on this. I've been wrong before. Let's go here. Let's let's go see if we can do this. We'll do control module. Reference. Okay, so why does this thing still seem enhanced? I definitely like the keyboard and mouse option better here. So we're going to go programming and setup, control module references, and we need to find. This may not even have it in here. Electronic brake control module, seat heating module, chassis control module. Okay, yeah, may not, because we're gonna have our trailer brake stuff there. I don't know if we're gonna have trailer brake control module. I didn't get the number. Trailer lighting control module. I don't think that's transmission. Okay, trailer brake control module. Shoot, I was hoping, but see over here on the side where it's black, I was hoping it was going to be blue so we could get scan tool information from it. Oh, you ding dong. We got to go here. We got to go back to the chassis control module. That's what we need to do because we're not. Okay, chassis control module. Here's what we want. We want to see. We want to see what this data pin is supposed to be, or what normal value is. So trailer brake power control module battery voltage. Okay, trailer brake control module battery voltage. Trailer brake control, trailer brake relay, trailer brake status, user gain vehicle speed. Okay, I must have scrolled past it here. Trailer brake relay command. Okay, that's the output. Stop lamps, trailer brake control disabled. Trailer brake control module command duty cycle. Relay feedback. This is a filtered. It's a relay feedback diagnostics. Alright, so it must be some different different ways that it defines it here. Let me just kind of scroll down through these here. If I don't find something where I'm super satisfied, I will we'll just move on. But sometimes this can be a good reference because it'll give you a little definition, like, hey, what's that data PID supposed to be? What does it represent? Let me do this just so I can see. Why? Well, this is interesting. I don't know how to do. Yeah, interesting. I don't know how to do the split screen function here. The old Altel, I just push the split screen. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Hate to do this on you guys. I know we can use Firefox. Yep, not sure how to do the split screen right offhand, and I'm not gonna figure it out at this moment. Trailer brake control. Command duty cycle. Scan tool displays voltage. This is the voltage on the relay feedback. Do we have that? Yeah, I'd really like to find this one here. Yeah, and I do believe, I think what we're seeing here, I think we're seeing either not an exhausted list, or they have it done differently. That's the only thing that I could say. All right. Well, I'm not going to waste waste any more time scanning electronic. That's electron. This is for the locking diff. Locking diff. Okay. So I'm not going to waste any more time on that. I'm going to assume either terminology is different. Let's see. Electronic trailer brake is 18 volts. Brake is connected to the battery user gain setting. Okay. All right. We're going to skip this for the time being. I'm going to go inside here and play with the manual lever, see what displays here, see if I get a reaction from it. If I do, great. We're going to go underneath it, drop the spare tire, find this module, and then carry out our test from there. We know the fuse up here is good. So if for some reason we don't have power back there, we'll at least know where to begin. Okay, stand by, folks. I went inside and played with stuff. Trailer brake sensitivity switch, or trailer brake sensitivity percentage. That's when you're turning the gain up and down when it's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as it goes up through. It puts that up there. And then when I pull it over on the manual lever, manual trailer brake apply request signal 1 and 2 must have some sort of redundancy system, which is to be expected. Both of those numbers went up, and then it measures the deviation between signal 1 and signal 2, and that was like around 1 or 2%, or the value there was 1 or 2. I don't know if it's just some arbitrary number. I assume, because it says its default range is 0 to 200. I wouldn't think that would be in a percentage value, but that's that. So that appears to work. So we're back to where we were. I did print us out the connector pin out for that back there. Let me look and see what it's going to take to get the spare tire out. We can get the module out. We can touch it. We can feel it. We've got our diagram there on our scan tool. We'll look at that and then carry out powers, grounds, ability to communicate. All right. Step 1, remove the lock cylinder, which was nice. It wasn't seized up. Kind of amazing. Step 2, find which one of the... Did I nail it first shot? Find out which one of these tools is it. I unhooked the cable. All right, good enough. All right, let's find the module now. No sense in trying to work around that while it's swinging. Oh, there go the glasses. Okay, everything's mounted above this bracket here. That's about handy. Not really. Okay, let's work on trying to get this off here. Looks like there's a 10 mil here. Try not to break stuff. It's a no mercy reversey. Big long one. Goes all the way through. And then it appears to be some Torx bits. I'm gonna grab your classic T30 here. Oh, look at that. First try. Well, this guy. Got 2 of them. Please don't break. You mother fudging frickin' piece of General Motors frickin' junk. Who the designs this stuff? Frickin' nut and bolt. Are you kidding me? I'd like to meet the moron engineers who make some of this stuff. A, it's a Torx bit.
And B, it's not a nut up there. I'm still just pissing and moaning about it. But why on earth do they make it so it sticks through? No mercy, reversey. Guy just went off the deep end real quick. That escalated quickly, Eric. Probably because I felt dirt go in my pants. I'm all wound up there. Full of dirt here. It's the only problem with tucking your shirt in, I guess. Oh, I'm gonna buy me a Chevy. I'm just kidding. So I think we're dealing with chassis control module. And then we come on the flippy flop here. Fuel pump control module. Trailer brake control module is all on this side. Which the problem might be obvious. She might be all crusty. I believe fuel pump control module. Chassis control module. Alright, who'd have thunk anything could have gone wrong under here. We need to get this cleaned off, blowed off. It may be worthwhile just to, well, let's just leave her put first. Let's verify we have the right one by connector pin out. I believe it's going to be this because we got the big blue wire, which is usually your brake control. Not many wires running to it. Probably power ground, brake control. I think that green with blue, if I remember right, that was the network, and then I don't know what the other two wires were right offhand. I didn't put it in the vault. Alright, let's get a blower. Clean our glasses off. Let's get under here. I believe we're on the right one. See what we have. Oh, okay, let's see. Here's our big pin out. Number one. Violet. Oh, diagnostic test probe. Okay, pin one, red with violet. Yep. White with black on pin two. Yep, yellow, black, and then blue. Okay, very good. So we have the right, we're on the right unit. Let's get our red lock tab out of there. Look at that, she came right out. So that's good. Let's see if we can't get it disconnected. Sometimes the connectors will be right full of dirt. You can imagine that. So getting them disconnected, that's why when I was blowing on it, I was tapping it at the same time, try to tap the dirt out from underneath the lock tab. So connector looks good and clean. Probably should go get a high power test light here. All right, we got our high power test light. No, I don't know. Probably these two big honkers are our power and ground from that 30 ampere, I would guess. Okay, that's what I'm guessing. So we got our two big honkers here. We're lighting up a 4 amp light, so that's good. I think that was the only power back on this module, but let's take a look. Red with violet, primary fuse battery positive. Number 9 ground, so pin 1 and pin 9, right? All right, so that's what we did. And then that little white with black is trailer brake apply signal. And that yellow with black is trailer brake enable signal. So that's some signals we would have to have. We don't have a diagram, we just have our pin out. I have to assume that's, you know, jibber jabber back and forth to the chassis module. Now here's one we're worried about because we just did powers and grounds. We know we're good. We have this green with blue.
green and blue, electronic brake control module LIN bus. Now we should be able to go get our little U-scope and see some LIN bus activity on there. I think LIN buses are usually 0 to 12 volts. Could be wrong on that, but that's what I expect to see. And if I don't see that, I'll make something else up. Okay, there we go. All right, we're plugged up. I'm gonna stick that up here for right now. Let's get this here. We're just gonna see if there's data being transmitted on that LIN bus. Hopefully there is. We'll get our ground. Oof. Connector. My little alligator here got some STDs up on it. Got the itchies. Let's see. We're gonna go into that ground. And then I think that was the only one on the bottom here, so we're gonna go in the only hole that has a metal pin in it. There's that. Okay, we got no talkie, but my meter's not. Why is it? Oh, it's on hold. Why is it on hold? Okay, there we go. I had to get her normal. Okay, I was like, what in the world? Let's see. Now that I've got all my settings all messed up here. Let's see. We're gonna do 5 volts per division, 2 volts. So it is a 0 to 14, or a 0 to battery voltage. So I was right in that regard. Let me get my trigger and stuff set right here. Okay, we're gonna put that on normal. Sorry, just bear with me here, folks. Sorry about that. Let's see, let me move our waveform down here. Get a little more time on our screen. Okay, so we see LIN bus communication. 0 to 12 volts, square packets. We don't have to go crazy and get out a serial decoder or anything. You know, we can kind of, we can get a little more resolution on there. But we can see, if we back it out, that there is being data transmitted on this LIN bus, all right? And that's pretty much all we need to know. We're 2 volts per division. We got about 14 volts on the screen. I think there's 7. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so we have 14 volts on our screen. So we see it's 0, 12. So that's that. That's that, a bag of Wheaties right there. What's that tell us? Well, Rocco, it tells you your chassis control module's junk. Okay. We did our due diligence. We have powers, grounds, ability to communicate. Is she crusty underneath? Well, that one came off, so that's a blessing. Look at us go. Go, go. Go, baby. Happy birthday. What's she look like underneath there? Oh, not too bad. We've seen a whole lot worse. I was kind of expecting to see a hole corroded right through it. Maybe I had some water intrusion in there, I don't know. Your pin designations are on the inside here. 1 through 8 and 9 through 16. So if you're looking for those. But yeah, that's pretty much that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this torque. And I want to see if the fella wants to change it. I believe it's a plug and play module. I don't see anything on it that indicates otherwise. Generally speaking, on a Chevy. Oh, that might be a plug and play fuel pump module, so that may not even prove my point. Usually there'll be the sticker that has the 2 arrows, one point one way, one point the other way, or something along those lines, indicating that's a programmable module. We can go back into service data, look at control module references, and that will tell us the remove and replace procedure. And I've mentioned to you guys saw us just use that. Anytime you're working on General Motors, you want the wiring diagram for a certain module, you want to know where it is, you want to know how to replace it, you want to know what the scan tool data should look like. Control module references, that's one of the best references you can have when you're looking up information on your General Motors product and you want to know, how do I install it, how do I program it, how do I set it up. you know, schematics, stuff like that, all the important stuff. It is kind of nice that GM has kept that pretty much the same for a lot of years, and that's pretty handy. So that's it. So we're gonna leave that one alone. I'll just kind of stuff it back up here so I can drive it outside, I imagine, if I'm able. So we won't put any of the bolts back in it or anything like that. Let's figure out what the world's going on with his the brake business over here. Be kind of curious. May not get into that too far. He did tell me prior to having the brakes fixed by his buddy, everything was working. You know, there wasn't an issue. So I'm not going to put a lot of time into that. I would be inclined to get a new brake sensor. Like we just, you know, I'm just visual inspection back here. I'm not going to go way off in the weeds. The brake sensors are super duper cheap, like, I don't know, 20 bucks or something like that for OEM. This is probably aftermarket from the looks of it. Which, with that being said, I've never had an issue with aftermarket ones. We've used tons of them, do lots of brake jobs. So, but being that it is so cheap, this is one of those cases where do you pay me a whole bunch of money to go diagnose it, or do we just, you know, get that little guy, plug it in. If it doesn't work, then put the effort into it. Because if you're paying a shop, that is the cheaper option. We have to pull the wheel and all of that stuff. So let me look at that real quick and see what we see, and then see if the customer wants to fix this. I assume he does, from the sounds of it. I assume he does. So I'm going to call the Chevy garage, see if they have this sensor. I'm going to see if they have that module, and then at least get that stuff coming on the way, and then look into that a little further. Got everything ordered from Chevrolet. They had it all in stock. The trailer brake control module is ridiculously cheap. We still would have had to have tested it for powers, grounds, comms. No programming required. Looked under control module references. It is a plug and play unit. You don't have to, you know, log into TechLine Connect or any of that stuff. And it's only like 35 bucks. Real cheap. Same thing with that brake sensor. Again, you know, multiple of those in stock, like, I don't know, less than 20 bucks. Pretty cheap. And the approach I'm going to use on that, like I said, I'm just going to plug it in and see if it works. If it does, great. If it doesn't, I throw it on my shelf. We'll use it on the next brake job. We do enough brake jobs here. It's, you know, not going to be a waste. And that would be the easiest way to diagnose that. And that sounds kind of silly to some of you because, you know, I honestly don't even know how they work. Never had to diagnose one, because every time we do a brake job, you know, we put in new brake wear sensors, go through, do the, you know, reset, clear procedure, whatever it entails, and we're usually, you know, we're off to the races at that point. So I honestly have never had to look into one of them to see how they even function. If we plug this one and clear it and it works, I still won't know how they work. But if we plug it in and it doesn't work and we have the same codes and we can't clear it, at that point, well, now we're gonna have to figure out, how does this thing work? What are we missing, and follow it from there. But oftentimes when, you know, a part like this is dirt cheap, an OEM part, I am not condoning going on Amazon and eBay, buying a bunch of crap online and trying to stick it on your vehicle and see if it works. This is a very rare instance for me, and I think you guys know me well enough to know this is not the norm, but in some cases it's the most logical. All right, lunch is over. Got this back from Chevrolet, all the way from Mexico, same place the truck's made. America! Not quite. Box is open. Boom, look at that. Shiny. Ate my lunch. So that's good. But my other appointment just showed up, so we gotta kind of hustle through this here. If you can. I guess we could have left down unplugged, but we didn't. There's that. We'll get the new one. Plugged up. Now if we're wrong, if we made the wrong diagnosis, we will have to pull this outside and revisit it. a little bit later when we get the wader done. Wader's gonna wait. Let me grab the scan tool. And for those of you that are wondering, we were right. Ah, shoot. Let me just share the screen with you here. That's gonna be a little easier. Too many glares here. So let's see. So look at that. Look at the trailer brake power, 14 volts now. The output control circuit, 12 volts. So that's good. All right. Let's pop back out of here. Chassis control module. We're gonna go back into that. DTCs. Yeah, actually, we probably should have just stayed right in there. Let me go enter system, trouble codes. For some reason, I keep thinking that we're in the trailer brake control module. So this code would set immediately when you couldn't erase it, basically. Oops. I think I keep hitting read codes here. There we go. Erase codes. Yes, erase codes. Yes. Okay, sometimes on Chevrolets you got to do it twice. Okay, so no codes. That's good. Well, we're under here. Should we take and just plug that sensor in there real quick without even pulling the tire? I think so. And that code would also come back immediately. So let me do that. I think we are good to go with everything now. And I think what I should have done is slow down to go fast. I believe the brake pad monitor there, I guess I should have never assumed, but the brake pad monitor, brake pad wire wear sensor reset was never performed is what it comes down to. So a little different than just a code clear. It's just another scan tool function. Go in and tell it that it's new. Because I went in there and popped in. I don't think I had it. I don't think it's screen recording. Because I was clearing it, I see the code came back. Okay, yeah, make sure it's not. Code came back. I went into live data. I looked at the data for the rear sensor and it looks like it's working. I'm like, you ding dong. I take it for granted that when we do the work that we just go in and, do a proper, carry out the calibrations, resets, anything like that it needs. And that's simply all this thing needed. Let me get the wiring harness back up in here. So I left his old sensor in there, plugged it back in, and then it all kind of dawned on me, recognizing that just the procedure was never carried out. Okay, there's that. Let's grab the 10 mil. Where was that? That was up in here. There's that. I'm gonna go grab a torque wrench, torque those all to factory specs. And then we should be good to go. We'll plug a trailer simulator in his plugger back here, make sure the trailer brake control works, and move on with our life. Come on down. Come here, right in the dome. Get our cable over here. There it is. There's that. She cranked up. Our pull-out game is strong. Now we just need to put the lock cylinder back up in that joint. Little line goes on the top. There's that. That ain't going nowhere. That's how you know.
Oh, yeehaw. Let's go in the truck. Stretch the cable out. Okay, she's stretched out. Let's get up in this Chevy. See what kind of messages we have. None. Fixed. Okay. LEDs on this thing are crazy bright. Okay, so we have both our brake lights. Turn on our headlights. We got our headlights. Let's trailer brake control. Let's bump that maximum output. 10.0. Boom. Boom. I'm just giving the old manual slide lever a move here. And she's popping up and down. Okay. Left turn, right turn, brakes, reverse. We're full LED action. We're going all the way. I'm gonna turn down the gain up there on the dash. We'll set her in the middle at 4.0, because that's half a 10. It's not. All right, that's all good. Feel like a ding dong for not just doing the brake pad reset. I don't know what I was thinking. Got a little sidetracked there. So I got to keep on keeping on, folks. Ooh, that's fun, huh? Crazy bright LEDs on this thing. I don't know what engineer came up with this one, but it is intense. Like, I can literally feel the heat right there on my hand. Not just because it burns. Super, super bright. Just like most of my viewers. Super bright. Not like I was when I've neglected to do the brake pad sensor replacement procedure. Whatever. At least we didn't pull a wheel and get too stupid with it, right? Before we remembered. And by we, I mean us, because you're along here with me. We're going to keep on keeping on. At the end of the day, honestly, if you don't want to do any diag on your trailer brake control module, just put one on it. You're going to be out about 30 bucks. So that's nice. That's nice of Chevy to have that part super cheap. I still do my due diligence, you know, powers, grounds, ability to communicate, because if I order it, then I wait, it shows up, I plug it in, it doesn't work. Well, now we're right back to where we started. And it only takes me a matter of minutes to, you know, check power and ground. I'm in a test light, shove it across there, stick a little scope on the LIN bus, and ta-da. But we could also see, it was kind of neat in scan data. You guys probably learned something there. The voltage, you know, applied and output. That data pit is supposed to read, you know, 12.5 on the out and battery voltage on the inside. But ours, we got a battery maintainer hooked to it. That's why the voltage is always, you know, 13.8 or whatever it may be there. So that's it. Lots of transition there for you folks. Why don't you guys just transition down into that comment section? While you're down there, leave a comment. Look for us on the Insta, the Facebook. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.